Hey guys, long time no see. What's up vlog? I'm really hoping you can see me and that my head is not like cut out of the frame. If you're new here, I'm Joy, and today I'm gonna be telling you my story and my fitness journey. I feel like I made like little snippet TikToks and reels about my story, but I've never really gone into depth on it. That's something you're interested in, stick along and hopefully you'll learn something from my story or relate to something. My channel is all about being open and vulnerable and honest, so that is exactly what I'm gonna do today. Let's start at the beginning. I was a gymnast for 15 years of my life since I was a little baby. I was literally flipping out of my mother's womb. I kid you not. I came out of her upside down. So since the very beginning, I just loved to flip and be rebellious, and I wasn't scared of anything. So my mother put me in gymnastics when I was 3 years old, put me in like roly-polies. I loved it. I was advanced for my class. So then they ended up moving me to like the competition stage of gymnastics. So I started off as a on pre-team. So that's like basically level 2, but a little higher than level 2. And it's like the level before you go into competition, which is level 3. And then I went into level 3, and that's kind of how my gymnastics journey began. I moved up levels pretty quickly because I was just naturally good at gymnastics, and I did work really hard, but I was naturally good at the strength and all that comes with gymnastics, except flexibility. I've never been flexible. My hips are still messed up. My hips have never been flexible. I used to have to go to private lessons to try and make my hips more flexible. That's just never been it for me. Gymnastics started to get a little more intense around like level 5. I was going 5 days a week. I think it was like 2 hours then, right after school. Pretty intense. I was a state champion 3 years in a row. Level 5, 6, and 7, I was a state champion. Level 7, I made it to regionals. As I got higher in the levels, training became more intense. It was 5 days a week during school for 3.5 hours. So I would go to school, go to gymnastics practice, do my homework, go to bed, repeat. 5 days a week. And then in the summer, it was 6 days a week. In the summer, it was 4 hours long and then 5 hours long when we had dance. So we had to take dance for gymnastics. So from the very beginning, I've always been very competitive. Gymnastics was my life. Literally my whole entire life. I ate, words, Joy. Words, yeah. What am I trying to say? Eat, breathe, and slept gymnastics. It was who I was. It was my whole identity. All my friends were gymnasts. I barely had any friends at school because I didn't have time to do anything outside of gymnastics. It was literally my whole entire life, my whole entire world, the thing I was most passionate about in the whole entire world. When I was 16, I broke my ankle at sectionals for high school gymnastics, and if I stuck that vault and got a good score on that vault, I would have made the section 6 team for my high school. So I was pretty devastated. It was really hard being injured and not being able to do gymnastics, and then the doctor sent me back too early and I ended up re-breaking my ankle, and then again the same thing happened and I broke it 3 times, and the doctors basically told me that you'll never be able to do gymnastics again. You're going to keep injuring yourself. Long term, it's not going to be good for you. I also found out I have sesamoiditis in both of my feet, which is when your sesamoid bones, which is like the ball of your foot, doesn't form entirely at birth. So instead of having 2 sesamoids, I have 4 sesamoids on my right side and 3 sesamoids on my left side. So anytime I put pressure on it, my feet swell up because of like the space in between the sesamoid bones that were never joined at birth. So that was also a challenge because I had that my whole life, but it just kind of got worse as gymnastics got more intense. So that really held me back in gymnastics before I even injured my ankle. My feet would be swollen all the time. I had to do ice baths every night. It was very draining because like I was constantly in pain. I could barely walk without pain. They thought I broke both of my feet when I first went to the doctor, so I was on crutches for like a month, and then they figured out what it was. Yeah, after they told me I couldn't go back to gymnastics because I hurt my ankle. This was also during COVID, so like the worst time ever for it to happen. I was really depressed. Like, I kid you not, gymnastics was my whole entire life. Like, after that happened, I did not know who I was. I did not want to live anymore. I'm getting emotional talking about it, but yeah, I found no purpose in life. other than gymnastics, because that's what I gave my all to. I gave my everything to that sport, and having it taken away from me was like my first heartbreak. That's how I explain it, because obviously I didn't have time for guys. I was a full-time gymnast trying to become an Olympian. So losing that, I had no identity. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I felt so lost. I turned to controlling food as kind of a coping mechanism. Felt like something I could control in my life when I felt like my whole life was out of control. So I was not eating enough for a while. I lost a pretty good amount of weight, and I just let it control me. I would starve myself for a little bit, then I would end up binging, and it was a whole cycle. I tried throwing up, wasn't for me, luckily, thank God. I, tried sticking a toothbrush down my throat and making myself throw up after I would eat. I would count my calories, not eat enough, take laxatives, over-exercise, and under-eat at the same time. This is kind of when I first started getting into the gym. Also, this was COVID, so there wasn't really anything else to focus on other than my eating disorder and what I was going through without gymnastics. I would cry to my mom every single day about missing gymnastics and how I don't know what I want to do with my life, how I just felt worthless and purposeless. It was really hard because I did want to go at least the college level with gymnastics, and not having that anymore was really, really hard, especially during that time. I was a little baby. I wish I could just hug myself. I was 16 years old, and I felt like my whole life was over because of me losing a sport. Yeah, luckily I started going to the gym with my brother. He was a football player, so all him and his friends would do was bench. So the first time I got on a bench press, I did 135 pounds. I don't know what that is in kilos. It's a blue kilo plate, and I remember one of the guys at my gym with an older gentleman was like, "Wow, you're really strong. Have you ever thought about powerlifting?" And I had no idea what powerlifting was. And I looked into it, found a coach, and that's how I got into powerlifting. But before that, I was using the gym to over-exercise. It was not good. I was going twice a day. So I started eating more, but I was still using the gym to burn more calories. I remember one time I didn't eat enough before the gym, and I almost passed out in the locker room, and I had to call my mom to come and get me. Luckily, fast forward, I got into powerlifting, and I met my first coach when I was 17, and I started training for a powerlifting competition. And powerlifting saved me. I love powerlifting with my whole entire heart. And I know it's jumping from one sport to another, but I feel the longevity of powerlifting and just lifting in general and going to the gym is so good for you. And I finally felt passion for something again in my life after so long, probably 2 years, which felt like the longest 2 years of my life of not feeling purpose or passion for anything. I finally was passionate about something. So I started training for my first powerlifting meet, and I competed in May at just a local meet, and I broke a unofficial world record at that meet. I placed first in my weight class and age group, and my coach was like, "Do you want to go to Worlds?" And I was like, "What the heck is Worlds?" He's like, "It's basically the Olympics for powerlifting." And I was like, "Yeah, sign me up. I'm competitive as and I've been craving that competitiveness that I've been missing from gymnastics. So yeah, let's do nationals. Let's see if I can have a shot at the world's team. Let's run it up." So then I started training for nationals, and I started taking my nutrition really seriously. I was locked in. I was eating enough. And this is why I say powerlifting saved me, because it truly, truly did. If I didn't find powerlifting, I don't know where I would be today. I hope I would be somewhere good, but powerlifting literally shifted my mindset from focusing on the weight that the scale was showing me to the weight that I was lifting. It became more important to me to become stronger, to break world records. That was my goal. So my first nationals was that was a hard one, because the girl I was going up against was stronger than me, but she ended up bombing out on squats. So I got first, and I made the world's team, which I was so happy about. Broke one national bench record at that meet. That was my first ever record, and I thought it was so cool, which it is, but that was so cool to me, and the competitive side loved that. So I went to Worlds in Turkey, Istanbul. I broke a bench world record, second overall and broke a bench world record. That's when I knew, like, I want to be back on the world stage. I want to do this. Like, I'm all in. So then I competed in another meet in January. That's when I blew up on social media. I posted a squatting video of me and it got like 10 million views or something, and I gained 1 million followers in 2 weeks. By the way, crazy experience. I went from having like 70K on TikTok, 30K on Instagram to just blowing up overnight, and I had no idea what to do. Like, I was 18 years old. I was working 3 jobs at the time. I don't come from a wealthy family. I blew up on social media, was getting all these brand deals and stuff. Also, I didn't really know what I was supposed to be asking for or what I was worth, quote unquote, because I was so new to it. So luckily some local people helped me out with that. Fast forward again, it was my second nationals and I got signed by Gymshark. Also, I'm wearing Gymshark right now. I don't know if you can see it. Gymshark. Code JOY10. Started from the bottom, now we here. But anyways, you can use code JOY10 to save you 10% off at checkout if you so please. So I became a Gymshark athlete, which was really, really cool, and like my wildest dreams. I think that dream was so big I didn't even have it on my radar. Like, I didn't think that could happen. But Clem, who talks to a lot of the athletes from Gymshark, ended up flying out to see me in Buffalo, New York, where nobody ever goes to convince me to become a Gymshark athlete, which was literally the coolest thing in the whole entire world. I was like, wow, someone sees me as so worthy. I'm gonna cry again. Someone sees me as being so worthy to be on their team that they're gonna fly out to see me to try and get me to become a Gymshark athlete. It was actually crazy. So that happened. I became a Gymshark athlete. I made the world's team. I got second at the nationals, but they wanted 2 63 kg lifters, so I ended up going. I went to Romania. I got second on bench, which I didn't place in the overall, which is fine. It was my first year in the juniors. It's very rare that it's your first year and you place in the overall. But I got second on bench, which was really cool. Me and Elba, we tied, and she beat me on body weight, but just to like be up there with my bench, close to one of the best. I was a 63 kg at that time. One of the best 63 kg lifters was insane and special and awesome. And then after Romania, I was gonna do nationals again, but I had to cut back into my weight class because I did gain some weight after Romania because I was cutting for so long into that meet that I just started binging and calling it a bulk, and I gained a lot of weight and I was not at a good place with food because I was cutting for so long. So I was trying to cut into the 63 kg class again for nationals. I ended up pulling out of nationals because I just couldn't do it. My mental health was so bad. I started developing OCD. Not developing, because I think I've always had it my whole entire life, but it's been kind of dormant. So during that time, my gut was so messed up. I was so deprived of food that my OCD became very much prevalent and very much took over my life for a year. And I thought the 2 years of losing gymnastics was hard. No. The 1 year that I was going through the worst OCD of my life was the hardest year of my life. It took over my life. I could not even leave my house some days because of how bad it was. So I don't get physical compulsions, but I have mental compulsions. My mind was just going crazy for like a year of my life. So I started the animal-based diet, which is mostly whole foods, and that really helped heal my gut and my mind because your gut and your mind are connected. I ended up losing a good amount of weight with that, and I competed as a 69 kg at Bench Worlds, and I became a Bench World champion. While I was going through the hardest time of my life, I still pushed myself to do that. That was really cool, but I was still like, you might see the videos of me doing great and whatever during that time, but yeah, my OCD was running through my head all day during Bench Worlds. Like, my thoughts were going crazy, but I just had to push through and do what needed to be done, and I became a Bench World champion, which is really cool. Then after that, I decided to take a step back from powerlifting. I was just really burnt out from all the cutting and everything going into meets. I just needed a break. I kind of fell out of love with the sport for a little bit, and then I stayed on the animal-based diet and the whole foods diet, and I was doing kind of like more HIIT workouts, trying to like push myself being like a hybrid athlete because I would still bench here in there. And then I missed powerlifting too much, so I decided to go back to powerlifting. But now that I'm back powerlifting, I lost a bunch of weight. I lost almost 40 pounds. I lost 35 pounds since I was powerlifting last, so my numbers are significantly down. I also took 6 months off. I'm just trying to rebuild my strength. It's still hard though, because like even on bench, I'll be benching something for my PR or max, and it's something I used to warm up with, and you can get down on yourself about it because you know what you were capable of then, and now like you just feel weak and unaccomplished because you're not lifting as much as you used to. I try and remind myself that I'm in a new stage of life. I'm not who I was then, I am who I am now, and I'm meant to be where I'm meant to be, and I can't look back on it too much and dwell because I'm two completely different people. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now, and I'm in love with powerlifting again, thank goodness, and I'm really excited to compete. That is my story. There's probably a lot more that I can talk about, but just off the dome, that's my story. It's what I overcame, and I'm very proud of the person I am becoming today. I never regret the things that have happened to me in the past, or the times that I had to go through and overcome, because it has shaped me into the person I am today, and I'm so much stronger when it comes to overcoming mental challenges and stuff because of the things that I went through at such a young age. I would not be a Gymshark athlete or like have this platform if I didn't go through those things. If I didn't lose gymnastics, I wouldn't be mentally tough. If I didn't have to go through OCD and learn how to overcome that, I never wish I didn't have to suffer, because God gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. I'm just grateful that now I have the opportunity to share my story, to help others that might be struggling, to tell you that eating disorder doesn't control you. Your OCD does not control you. It doesn't define you. It's not who you are. You're not messed up. You're not less than. You're not defined by the things that have happened to you or are happening to you in your life. You are so much more than that. It's just my goal to spread that message, to teach young girls that the scale does not define you. You can overcome an eating disorder. It's not a forever thing. It will get better. OCD will get better. You will be okay. Trust me, you will be okay. Even if it feels like you're not going to be okay, you will be okay. And you can do great things, and never give up on yourself, ever. If I gave up on myself, I wouldn't be here. So I love you. The world is a better place with you in it. And if you like this video, you can like and subscribe. I'm gonna try and post more. I know I say that about 1,000,000 times. I love you guys so much. I wouldn't be here without you.